What's up, everybody? Let's talk about the NBA playoffs of 2019. So this year, it's been a little bit more equity in the league. We've had a little bit more of a challenge. The East has been a better conference than the Western Conference has been overall, I think. You might dispute that, but of course, we've got the number one champ at the top, the Golden State Warriors, still number one, still going to make it number one in the NBA playoffs with that number one seed. So who are the Golden State Warriors going to face? Yes, none other than the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I know a lot of people think that the Lakers are not going to make the playoffs. I still think that they're going to make the playoffs, that they'll put it together, make the playoffs this year, and finally get in there. Of course, only to lose to the Golden State Warriors. Portland Trailblazers and Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum got a good squad up there. They make the playoffs often, but of course, not always advance very far in the playoffs. I think it's going to be the same thing this year. They're a good team, but they're going to take on James Harden, CP3, and a healthy Clint Capella in the Houston Rockets. And I think that's going to be a little bit of a tough matchup for them. But nonetheless, Portland and the Houston Rockets are going to be in the playoffs this year. In the next bracket, we've got the OKC Thunder. Russell Westbrook taking a back seat this year a little bit more, which is good. Still playing, still putting up those triple doubles though. So not too much of a back seat, but definitely taking on that role with Paul George, letting him do his thing. And they're going to take on the Utah Jazz. And Utah is a good team. Rudy Gobert. We've got some good players on that team, but I think still OKC is still going to pull that out, and we'll talk about that. Then the good team this year, really great team, doing well. The Nuggets, Denver, just rocking it. That's not a surprise team. I think people thought they were going to do well, and they're going to take on Greg Popovich's Spurs. I mean, the Spurs get in every single year, and I think this year's not going to be any different. They're going to get into the playoffs. And I don't know how deep they'll go, but DeMar DeRozan found a home, and he's doing well. On the East, we've got, of course, the number one team in the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Milwaukee Bucks. Added some nice pieces before the trade deadline, and I think that they're going to be successful, and they're going to take on the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons are doing well. I think they're going to get in, squeak in as the 8th seed. And I've got a tough matchup there for them with the Bucks, so I think that's going to be a little bit tough for them. Next, we've got a loaded squad in the Philly 76ers. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons still hasn't found his jump shot, but at least he's trying to throw them up. They might be bricks, but he's trying, better than not trying. So I think Ben Simmons and Jimmy Butler and all those guys are going to do well. Then they're going to be taking on the Victor Oladipo-less Indiana Pacers, who have found their stride. I think even they're playing well, and even without Victor Oladipo, they're too far already into the playoffs to fall off. A lot of teams are trying to make it, and I don't think they'll fall off, so I think they'll stay in. Celtics, everybody thought that they'll go to the finals, and of course, they'll make the playoffs this year with a dysfunctional team, but nonetheless, I think they'll put it together enough to be able to make it and take on the Brooklyn Nets and D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell got traded from the Lakers, outing teammates, all this gossip in LA, and he finally gets back out to Brooklyn, or gets out to Brooklyn, doing well, and so good for him, resurrecting as a player on another team. And the Toronto Raptors are going to take on who do you think? I think Michael Jordan's team. I think they'll get in there as well. So the Charlotte Hornets will take on the Raptors and Kawhi Leonard, who got shipped out of the country by Greg Popovich. So I think they'll get into the playoffs as well. All right, so who do we have in the West? The Golden State Warriors, of course. You didn't think LeBron would actually be able to advance and to beat the Golden State Warriors. Of course, it's just dealing with a loaded team and a very undermanned team. So on the other matchup, we've got James Harden and CP3 are just going to be too much for Portland. And so CP3 and James Harden and the whole analytical staff there is going to be able to take on the Rockets. Really well. And then we've got the OKC Thunder. Yep, like I said, Russell Westbrook playing well, but letting another player take a bigger role. Paul George, succeeding, doing well. I think they'll out the Jazz, and this is an iffy call. I think Denver could advance, but I'm going to go ahead and choose the Spurs. But I think Denver could make it as well. But I'm going to go ahead and just decide one. Say go with the perennial favorites and the Spurs. Of course, I didn't think that the Rockets would win last year, even with a healthy CP3, and I still don't think they'll get through this year. I think it's still Golden State, and I think the Thunder are just too good of a team for the current Spurs. In the East, in that top matchup, I really think Giannis is such a good player, and he does have some good pieces around them. Not great as a whole, enough to take out the Detroit Pistons, and I think that'll be a fun matchup, but I think it'll end fast. They'll take them out pretty quickly. And then we've got Philadelphia is who they'll meet up with. Philadelphia is loaded, so I think that series is going to be a lot of fun. And then the other series, Boston, putting it together enough, finding a way hopefully to get the younger guys and Kyrie all worked in there to take on the Toronto Raptors. And Kyrie Irving, Uncle Drew against Law, I think will be a fun series to watch. That's a tough series. But before we decide that, let's talk about who's going to win the first series. And I think that's going to be the Milwaukee Bucks. I think are going to beat. Just kidding. It's the 76ers. So I see Philadelphia beating the Milwaukee Bucks. I think 76ers are just a whole team that's loaded. I know you've got Giannis Antetokounmpo, arguably the best player in the world right now, but I think that Philly just has too many pieces. Ben Simmons doesn't have a jump shot yet, but you've got Joel Embiid, you've got Jimmy Butler, you've got Tobias Harris, you've got JJ Redick with three-point shooting. I think you just have too much of a team there for the Bucks to handle with a one-man squad. I know that they have they've got a few other players that are good too. They made some acquisitions, but I still think the 76ers are overall the better team there. All right, there we go. Okay, and then the last playoff series there, or at least the second round, we've got the Raptors beating the Celtics. I just don't think the Celtics get to the finals this year. I think that there's too much discord, and you've just got Kawhi Leonard, arguably one of the top 5 players in the league, so I think he's too much to handle. And of course, no surprise, the Warriors making it to the finals. Warriors from the East. And that's the big question, right? Without LeBron being in the East, without a LeBron James, so without LeBron James, who takes on the Warriors, right? And sorry, Raptors fans, Canada got a little excited there, but no, it's going to be the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia is just too stacked of a team, and I think that's a great matchup. Besides, the NBA loves storylines, and you've got the two teams from Philadelphia. The Golden State Warriors used to be the Philadelphia Warriors in the 60s, is when they left and they went to San Francisco and then to Oakland. They'll be going back to San Francisco, but I just think that that's such a great storyline. You've got the two teams from Philadelphia, and who is going to win this series? Of course, most people would say the Golden State Warriors, and but the 76ers do have a chance. I could see them winning it too, but I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors. It's hard to root against them. They've got a loaded team. They've got all-stars on their team. They added DeMarcus Cousins. He's not as good as he was, but he's still amazing. And so I just think that the Golden State Warriors are just too good of a team. They're too seasoned, and they're after that third championship. So there you go, guys. My NBA playoffs 2019 playoff bracket. Enjoy.